Yo, what it do? Style coffee. You are beautiful. Okay. So, um, I don't know anything about coding, but I have endeavored to start the vibes. The vibes. The long term goal is to be able to have more interactive fiction experiences for my stories. I started off doing a couple small things with Claude, like a website that is a short story carousel with a RNG chance to get which stories. Um, we have done some other smaller ones where like the website itself has atmosphere, I guess, to better coincide with the story. For example, the story in question was set place in a desert. So the longer you read, the background looked sandy and it would get darker, things like this. I want to do much more complicated ideas, but I want to start building the groundwork on how to do these things. Um, so I recently made a calendar-esque read one thing a day website or app for Warren Buffett's shareholder letters. Since he announced his retirement, the last one should come out in December. There will be a fixed amount, and all this information is free online. This is not something new or necessarily groundbreaking in any type of way. All I wanted to do was allocate it all into one spot, which again is already online for free, but have it barred that you can only read one a day. I feel like a lot of people get into that trap where they're like, oh, it's because it's so easily available and you could just have them all up, you'll read one and then you don't really go back to it. So this way you're forced to only read one. You'll get an email back if you want to sign up for that within the website, and it'll shoot you the next day. You can make a streak, all that stuff. So I have already made it. Ran into issues. I will probably continue to run into issues. There was an issue today. I actually thought it was going to be the streaks and the day count, but it was the easiest one. Actually, it was just the letter in itself wasn't correct, and that was going to be the segue into how, even though you are vibe coding, you can start to build a foundation of what you need to know that you didn't know, which seems intuitive and obvious, but there is so much that going in blind that becomes more obvious, and there are utility things that can be used for other aspects. For example, the email verification things, having a sender, being able to knowing that you need to link the DNS together. For other ideas that you want to have the email like that, that's going to be needed. So even though I'm vibe coding to do it, I'm trying to understand the pieces that are needed to create what I want to create. The email sending thing was by far the longest part of the process for the Berkshire letters. I got to a point where it was working for me and it wouldn't send out emails to other people. So it's like the chains of knowing what actually is needed to do it. Super interesting. Like I said, she floats for now, but I'm sure there will be more icebergs ahead and we'll face it when it happens. But to double click and rewind on the previous point, the letters, so the issue with the letters was funny because I had already learned this part with doing the short story carousel, because once you actually make the structure of it, you pretty much just fill in, you make placeholders and you fill it in with the story, which is a drag because you have to bracket each of the lines, at least the way that Claude did it, and therefore how I watched and pseudo learning. And holy crap, that sucks. So it's like that dirty work is the work I would want the AI to do over than me, because I already wrote the story. I don't want to have to do it line by line in brackets again, especially me with typos. But so that's why I'm laughing today, because the letter, which in theory is again the easiest part, was the thing not working, which is also though empowering because worst case scenario, I know I can open it up, find the placeholders, and physically put it in it all. I just really don't want to have to do that, but I know I can. See, we grow, we're going stronger. But now, and that I'm thinking about this more, I really want to talk to someone who is good, and or obviously closer to a master as possible, that can perhaps lay out a outline of what they think the headers, the lighthouses of knowledge that are needed to, code, I guess. Because I do think vibe coding is going to be the future. And the risk of that is the knowledge that is not passed along. But for a lot of people whose interest isn't, the nitty gritty, like, not, no offense, I don't think I need to get into the nitty gritty of understanding how to code, but I would like to learn the hubs and structure it. Because I have other, interests in mind. I'd rather focus on my storycraft as well, and or learn animation and other things. So it's simply more so time restraints, I guess, on myself, and not wanting to override what I think is going to be a future commodity no matter what. But I would still like to learn, and I still want to embark on this journey, and we're doing it together, you and me. Let's go. Check it out if you want to read. I have since pulled down the story carousel. That's what used to be at stalecoffee.art. That got cannibalized into the Halloween landing page that has since been taken down since November 9th, and we're going to put something else up there soon. I might make another. I have two websites now for my writing. One is permanently for Parent Night, Rot Parent Night novel. If you haven't read it, go read it. It's good. And then this other one, stalecoffee.art, I have another project planned for it. So I might make a third and bring back the carousel. The goal with that is just to update it with current short stories. And then we'll see how we go from there. Yeah, and if you want to read the letters, which are very interesting, I already read the second letter today, filled with great knowledge. That's buffettdaily.com. And today's second letter, Buffett always shoots it straight. He talks about for their times, the market conditions, what he expects. He's like, they're in an uptrend right now, but it's going to go down, and these types of earnings are not sustainable, was his actual word. And it's funny how that kind of mirrors today when we have the benefit of hindsight to look at some of these things. But I also like how Buffett sings praises to everyone. Throughout this letter, he gives a bunch of call-outs to people that he thinks that are just crushing it. As well, there's a few really good lines that I'll put in the comments. Yeah. I'm Stale Coffee once again, and you are always beautiful. Steep.